Agriculture, the mother of civilizations. It provides us with labor, the nourishment, and the largest vote bank. It has sustained human civilization through years. So, what then is the problem of agriculture? Let's find out. Agriculture is just a small blip in the anthropological timescale. Homo sapiens were hunters and gatherers for more than 100,000 years before this. But 12,000 years ago, this was all changing. A crater struck the northwestern part of Europe. This led to a drastic climate change all across the globe. The earth was heating up. The stable climates were setting in. 2 by 3rd of all the ice caps in the northern hemisphere melted away. The oceans rose 120 meters, shaping the continents. Plants and animals began to multiply, and for the Homo sapien hunter-gatherer, this was the ideal time to transition to a settled life. This was the start of agriculture. It was a significant part because the Homo sapiens could now grow their own food thanks to the abundant rain and sunshine. Ancestors who were enriched in the wild, hunting and gathering, were now forced to live a sedentary life to keep a lookout on the crop and to depend on forces out of their control like rain and sunshine. And that is why it's famously theorized that humans turn towards the supernatural. And that's why agriculture is regarded as one of the main reasons for start of religion or socio-cultural evolution of man. But more on that in the next video. The agriculture powered many civilizations, like the great Indus Valley civilizations. But today, agriculture is the sorry picture. Why is it so? To understand the problem of agriculture, let's look at the means, the ends, and the beyonds of agriculture. Starting with the means, which is the mode of production and the implements used. We took 70,000 years to reach to 2 billion in population, and we took just 70 more to more than double that. To address the needs of a growing population, world leaders across the globe adopted to a mode of intense agriculture. This was possible because of the availability of machines and cheap fuel. This led to monocultures all across the world. Monocultures were also encouraged by subsidies. Even in India, to today, schemes like the PM Kisan, PM Fasal Bima Yojana, PM Krishi Mandan, soil health cards and Kisan credit cards cater to many needs of the farmers. This led to the abundance of the wheat, rice and sugar in the economy and as well as our diet, comprising 60% of the global calories. The meat industry has undergone a rapid change. The way we rear, process and consume meat has drastically changed. But not everything is a rosy picture. Monocultures mean that the crops are now an easy target for pests. Infect one and everything else can be affected, as seen in the yellow rust epidemic in 2015. With 4 times more livestock, it meant more mouths to feed. That's why less than 10% of our land use is built environment like houses and industry, and more than 90% is used for agriculture, and grazing being used predominantly more, leading to mass-scale deforestations as seen here in the Amazon's forest of Brazil. Land use change has also led to disasters in the southern peninsula like landslides and floods. The greenhouse emitted by the food industry is more than the entire transport industry combined. Moving on to the ends, that is the food that is gotten from agriculture. Globalization, trade deals, a rapid forward and backward linkages, a robust global supply network, and state-of-the-art processing technology has now enabled us to harvest, sort, as well as process the food in a matter of minutes. We can also remove the waste and preserve it for long use, hence taking the advantage over seasons, enabling complex foods like burgers to be made, changing the way we eat entirely, moving towards processed foods.
Folks, don't wait. Get Kellogg's new Sugar Smacks. They're better than ever. Puffs of wheat, sugar toasted, and candy sweet.
This calorie influx has led to a twin
Once
problem.
developing countries struggled with famine. Now they're struggling with obesity. As economies have grown in the last 30 years, so have their populations. But so too have their waistlines. And the numbers are stark. The report points to the abundance of processed food and sugary drinks as serious problems. But it also suggests that leading a more sedentary lifestyle and a lack of exercise could be to blame.
This sedentary lifestyle was in stark contrast to that of our ancestors, who were capable of covering long distances as they tracked their prey. This active lifestyle went on for more than 100,000 years, and then suddenly, since 10,000 years, our activity is a sorry fraction of what it used to be before.
That the way we eat has changed over the last 50 years. Americans are eating more processed foods and eating out a lot more frequently. The foods that are offered in restaurants, snack shops, and in vending machines are higher in sugar.
It's not just about how much we eat, it's also about how much we waste. Globally, we waste enough food to feed all the hungry over 4 times. If you can see this chart here, more than 70% of the food wastage comes after the point of sale, that is, in restaurants, food services, and households. This is one of the major causes for the twin incidents of malnutrition and overweight. In 2005, the underweight people far outweighed the overweight people, but just 10 years later, the disparity between overweight women and men in India to that of the underweight is shrinking, and this is a major problem. Food and Agriculture Organization reports major incidents of hunger throughout the world, even when we produce the highest that we have ever produced in humanity. This also costs the country in terms of economy, as you can see in these reports. With the onset of the Industrial Revolution 3 and urban migration, large hordes of low-income people sacrificed a nutritious diet for an affordable diet. They substituted food chains with cheap and oil-heavy street foods. And the malnourished, well, they were stuck in unclean surroundings and poor sanitation and a cycle of unhealth. And the rich and affluent were now stuck in a sedentary lifestyle. Coming to the beyonds of agriculture and its spillover effects. Less than 1% of the world's water reserves is available as fresh water, and more than 92% of this is gobbled up by one industry, agriculture. Agriculture consumes water equivalent to 3.3 billion Olympic-sized swimming pool every year, and more than 75% of this is used to grow corn and soy for cattle and other livestock feed, which combined use up to more than 37% of the land use. This water and land-intense agricultural methods have led to land degradation. As per UNFCCC, more than 33% of India's land is already degraded. Meat production increased more than 10 times in the last 70 years, and producing 1 kg of beef emits 65 times more carbon dioxide than 1 kg of potato, making agriculture the leading emitter of GHGs and a contributor to climate change. Coming now to the problems faced by its key stakeholder, the farmers. The farmers face a gamut of problems, including and not restricted to social, characterized by poor access to health and education and low social mobility. Economical, with poor procurements and no official sector of lending, they are harassed by loan sharks, leading to farmer suicides. Cultural, where practices like jhum cultivation and events like Kambala and Jallikattu are banned. Political, any grievances faced by the farmer becomes a political issue intervened by invested third-party interests, never having a solution. Not to forget, this proximity to animals makes us vulnerable to zoonotic diseases spread by animals to humans. This COVID-19 pandemic that we're facing today is also a zoonotic disease. We had asked, how did we get here? The Contagion 2011 has a very good explanation. Take a look at it. That's been it. Thanks for watching. And if you like the video, please give us a like and subscribe and let us know what are the other problems of agriculture in the comment section down below.